Hello and welcome, everyone. The main discourse we're having today, the main lecture we're having today is Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras, as articulated, expressed, are taught by the great Indian sage Patanjali. Sometimes it's always good to begin by giving little brief on who Patanjali is. Patanjali is a mighty genius, a mighty god, a mighty idol for people who do yoga. Patanjali is a very great personality. He's one of the great personalities in Indian history and indeed in world history. Patanjali did write a very important sacred book known as the Yoga Sutras. It's a collection of slightly less than 200 verses, very profound, very weighty verses. It's a tiny collection, but the verses are very profound. So he deals with yoga as is. Yoga, the yoga that you see, the yoga that you do every day, he just gives it expression. He gives it, he interprets it, he tells you what yoga is, how it works in the body. You take Tylenol, you take ibuprofen, Panadol, paracetamol, you take all these medicines, and then the doctor, who also studied pharmacy, now tells you, what, I learned what this is the formula, chemical formula for Tylenol, for Panadol, for paracetamol, ibuprofen. This is how it works in your body. This is how it kills the headache. When your body starts developing these headaches and fever and start feeling aches and pains, and you take 2 Tylenol or 2 Panadol, 2 paracetamol, 2 ibuprofen tablets, 400 milligrams, you take them, this is what happens in your system. The doctor starts analyzing and say, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, this is how it works. The thing goes, this is why the pain disappears finally. Because the doctor is not just a doctor, he studied pharmacy as well. So he's been through it, he's been through the chemistry. He knows exactly how that paracetamol is working, what it's doing. He studied both medicine and pharmacy. There are people who did just that. Some even go get degrees in law too. I've seen doctors who did things like that. They have a lot of time to study. So this doctor is also a pharmacist. So he will tell you how the medication works. So that's what Patanjali is, as greater than that. So Patanjali is telling you what it's all about, what life is all about. How come we feel pain? Why do we have to feel pain? Where does suffering come from? Why do we feel suffering and pain? Stress. Why do we get a lot of stress? Tension. We are not always calm, peaceful. Where does the stress come from? They will get stressed and pressured and stressed out. What happened? So these are the things. Patanjali is giving you the medicine and he's telling you how the medicine works. Concentration comes back to humanity. Concentration should go to divinity. Humanity and divinity are the same. Focus on the higher part, not the lower part. It's like saying, look up into the skies. Don't look down on the grasses. It's as simple as all that. So Patanjali tells us, he guides us through all of this. I'm just going to go through the third part very quickly. One-pointed concentration is the focus of the mind on precisely one point or one precise object. That's the first verse. The second, meditation is the unceasing flow of reasoning and understanding towards the point of concentration. Towards the point of concentration. Then verse 3, enlightenment is when the mind is completely void of all forms and all senses, and only the point of focus is radiant. 4, the three jointly practiced maintaining one point of concentration is self-restraint, self-conquest. 5, through self-conquest comes divine knowledge and understanding. 6, self-conquest gained is employed in degrees, one phase after another. 7, these three are at a closer distance than those preceding. 8, yet they are exterior to the objectless or selfless enlightenment. 9. The important facet is the fusion of the mind with just that instant of self-conquest or absolute self-control, when all thoughts arising vanish and perfect self-control reigns. 10. A serene stream of consciousness arises from this perfect self-control. 11. The fall of these distractions. The fall of distractions, no longer getting ensnared by every happening thing, and the rise of concentration, one-pointed focus, and absolute mindfulness is the enlightened transformation of the mind. 12. The mind attains its one-pointed state when the meandering streams of reason, past and present, falling and rising, are precisely alike. I take it again. The mind attains its one-pointed state when the meandering streams of reason, past and present, falling and rising, are precisely alike. 13. By this are expounded the special transformations of appearance, time, and condition in tiny elements, large elements, and sense organs. 14. The object is that which justifies the appearance of the fallen past, the arisen present, and the unknown future. 15. The succession of changes in the sequence is why we have succession of changes in the transformations. 16. By self-discipline and self-restraint regarding the three kinds of transformations, knowledge of the past and the future may be gained. 17. Naturally, there is the confusion which arises when the idea expressed as a word, the sound made when the word is uttered, and the object of reference when the word is uttered are all taken as one and precisely the same thing. Through self-discipline and self-restraint regarding their unique differences comes insight and clear understanding of so many languages and sounds uttered by all living beings. I take it again if you wish. Make it clearer. Naturally, there is the confusion which arises when the idea expressed as a word, the sound made when the word is uttered, and the object of reference when the word is uttered are all taken as one and precisely the same thing. Through self-discipline and self-restraint regarding their unique differences comes insight and clear understanding of so many languages and sounds uttered by all living beings. 18. By self-mastery and self-discipline regarding perception and penetration of ideas and intuition, knowledge is gained of one's previous lives. 19. Through insight and direct observation of the thoughts and feelings of a person comes knowledge of that person's mind state. Through insight and direct observation of the thoughts and feelings of a person's comes knowledge of that person's mind state. Is it clear? Should be clear by this time. 320. That knowledge, however, does not have for focus the thoughts, feelings, and basic support of the stream of thoughts and feelings. This is because the focus here is simply not there in the other person's mind. I take it again for clarity. That knowledge, however, does not have for focus the thoughts, feelings, and basic support of the system, of the stream of thoughts and feelings. This is because the focus here is simply not there in the other person's mind. Is it confusing? It's a little confusing. I'll take it one more time. That knowledge, however, does not have for focus the thoughts, feelings, and basic support of the stream of thoughts and feelings. This is because the focus here is simply not there in the other person's mind. Highlight the last two lines. Okay, 21. Through self-discipline and self-restraint of the appearance of the body, through disruption of perceptibility and the detachment of radiance comes invisibility. 22. Karma, that is action, exists in two categories: fruitful now, in other words, bearing fruits now, or fruitful later, that is, bearing fruits later. By self-mastery or self-discipline, one gains even knowledge of extinction. 23. By practicing self-discipline and self-restraint regarding friendships and friendliness, great strength and powers arise. Great strength and powers arise. 24. By self-mastery, self-discipline over any category of powers, such as the powers of elephants or infinite and boundless powers, the yogi gains all these powers. 25. Through self-mastery, self-discipline, and concentrating the radiance within on any material thing, knowledge is gained regarding its fine and complex, concealed or secret and remote qualities. I take it again. Through self-mastery, self-discipline, and concentrating the radiance within on any material thing, knowledge is gained. Knowledge is gained regarding its fine and complex, concealed or secret, and remote qualities. 26. By self-discipline, concentrating on the sun and its studies, knowledge of the universe is gained. By self-discipline, concentrating on the sun and its studies, knowledge of the universe is gained. 27. By self-discipline, concentrating on the moon and its studies, knowledge of the stellar system. In other words, the system of stars is gained. I take it again. By self-discipline, concentrating on the moon and its studies, knowledge of the stellar systems. In other words, the system of stars is gained. 28. By self-discipline, concentrating on the pole star and its studies, knowledge of movement. In other words, the motion of the stellar bodies, or simply the stars, is gained. 29. By self-discipline, concentrating on the navel and its studies, knowledge of the body and its constituents is gained. 30. By self-discipline, concentrating on the trachea and its studies, the power that overcomes hunger and thirst is gained. 31. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the corma nerve and its studies, bodily poise and calm is gained. The corma nerve is responsible for that. I take it one more time for clarity. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the corma nerve and its studies, bodily poise and calm is gained. 32. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the headlight and its studies, clear vision is gained of perfected beings. 33. Through spiritual awakening and insight, comes manifold achievements and boundless knowledge, which is called omniscience. 34. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the heart and its studies, divine wisdom is achieved, and enlightenment on all mind matters. 35. Life's events or happenings are experienced the way they are because of our own perception, impairment, problems. We cannot easily distinguish between the qualities and characteristics of vital existence and the indwelling divine. Both are certainly different, of course, but perfect knowledge of the indwelling divine is gained through self-discipline and self-mastery. 36. And then there is the natural awakening. There is the natural awakening. This enlightenment comes as inner clarity, clear perception in the sensory fields of seeing and hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. 37. These organs of the senses are wonderful perfections to the mind of the worldly person, but are great hindrances on the path of enlightenment. 38. By loosening the courses of attachment and bondage to the flesh, the mind of the yogi, empowered by the knowledge of the functioning of the currents of the nerve, may enter any flesh of choice. 39. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the nerve currents while employing vital deep breathing, a yogi may walk on water, walk on thorns like Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ was a yogi. Walk on blades, walk on mud and swamps, and levitate. They are teaching you powers, great powers, but you have to work very hard on these things. By self-discipline and self-mastery, I'm taking 41. By self-discipline and self-mastery, I'm taking 40. 40. Concentrating on vital breath and its renewal, a yogi may beam in glistening light, just like the sun, sunlight, or sunshine. I take it again. 40. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on vital breath and its renewal, a yogi may beam in glistening light, just like the sun, sunlight, or sunshine. 41. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the ear and the ether and their studies, remote hearing, in other words, transcendental or divine hearing, is achieved. 42. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the body and the ether and their studies, penetrating simultaneously the idea of the lightness of very light matter like cotton, space travel is accomplished. 43. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the mind and its studies, as it stays detached from the flesh, the yogi advances to a state commonly called great disembodiment. The state of great disembodiment, in which the obstacle concealing the light, beaming within, collapses and fades away. 44. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on gross, massive, and complex appearance, and investigating all the way down to small, tiny, fine appearance, and concluding with the superfine, enlightenment is gained. I take it again, 44. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on gross, massive, and complex appearance, and investigating all the way down to small, tiny, fine appearance, and concluding with the superfine, enlightenment is gained. 45. And thus arises manifold powers. and thus arises manifold powers and capabilities. A yogi may become as small as an atom and do many wonderful things. He can preserve and perfect the body and make its constituents indestructible. 46. Beauty, grace, vitality, and a firm and resolute vigor are manifestations of perfection, the perfection of the body. I take it again. Beauty, grace, vitality, and a firm and resolute vigor are manifestations of perfection, the perfection of the body. 47. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on the sense organs and investigating their facilities for perfection, fundamental appearance, constitution, and many powers of ego and egoism, and their manifold qualities and influences, the yogi gains conquest over all senses. 48. And now comes the advanced state. And now comes the advanced state, having exceptional mind speed, liberation of perception, and freedom from the senses, mastery over the self and all material existence. 49. The yogi who investigates and discovers the clear connection between active vital powers and the divine indweller advances towards omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience. 50. Having extirpated the roots of attachment, all attachment and their complicated snares, by the practice of abandonment and desirelessness, the yogi advances towards perfect liberation and freedom. 51. The yogi, however, should not become charmed, attached, or flattered by the overtures and pleasantries of heavenly beings, as that could lead unto the evil paths of ignorance again, want of knowledge, and many undesirable consequences. I'll read this again. Very important verse. I want you to highlight the whole of that verse. 51. The yogi, however, should not become charmed, attached, or flattered by the overtures and pleasantries of heavenly beings, as that could lead unto the evil paths of ignorance again, want of knowledge, and many undesirable consequences. You have to stay humble. 52. By self-discipline and self-mastery, concentrating on time, an instant of time, and the motion of time, the yogi gains divine wisdom through investigation and analysis. 53. Then comes a thorough grasp of the distinction between subtle objects, highly similar entities, which cannot normally be investigated and analyzed by classification, quality, or attribute, and location. 54. Insight arising from untiring investigative and analytic effort connects always to all entities. This knowledge is special and conclusive. I'll take it again. Insight arising from untiring investigative and analytic effort. Investigative and analytic effort connects always to all entities. This knowledge is special and conclusive. I'll take it one last time. Insight arising from untiring investigative and analytic effort connects always to all entities. This knowledge is special and conclusive. You may highlight all these things for further reflection and meditation. We are concluding part 3 with verse 55. When the impeccable states of the active vital energy and the divine indweller become equal, the yogi achieves liberation, ultimate freedom. I take it one final time. When the impeccable states of the active vital energy and the divine indweller become equal, the yogi achieves liberation, ultimate freedom. That concludes part 3. So you have to look at what our great sage, yoga sage, the great yogi, historic personality, yogi sage Patanjali is talking about. Yoga, of course, as we know, is very beautiful system of exercises. And to try to understand what you are doing when you're actually doing this, experimentation slash, therapeutic treatment of your pains, your self-management. My pains, okay, my, stress, so I do my stretch exercises, my twist exercises, my deep breathing exercises, and then I come to calm and poise. Okay, yoga is a beautiful thing. We've all known this for, thousands of years of human existence. They've been practicing. When Patanjali comes and gives us these ideas, what makes them so powerful? They go in to describe to you what you are performing. So you don't have a greater knowledge how this Tylenol is working, how it is killing these, viruses, these germs, that are, parasiting your system and causing you pains, fever, headache, sickness. See, because the doctor is also a pharmacist. He knows, he's telling you how the medicine is working. It goes into the system. Look at how it's destroying the disease-causing organisms. Okay? And so when you now understand, you really enjoy what you are doing. You're not just taking tablets of Tylenol to get rid of headache, but now you actually know how this Tylenol works. So this is what Patanjali is doing. He's describing to us, the whole point. Life, how we manage our lives, what we concentrate on. Body and soul is yoga. Body and soul. This body that you see is the same thing as the soul in invisible form. So we have body, we have visible and invisible. You can see visibly the body, but you cannot see visibly the soul. But the mind can perceive the soul. So we are both visible and invisible, body and soul. The goal of this life is, while we have the opportunity of this body, to cultivate our knowledge of the bodiless, of the soul, the bodiless soul. The soul has no physical body. It has its own spiritual body, if you want to put it like that, but it doesn't have the physical body. So life becomes an opportunity. As I see myself materially, I am working on my spirituality, my spiritual cultivation. So within 100 years or less that we live, we have developed our knowledge, our relationship with our true selves, our spiritual selves, our immortal selves, our perfect selves, our everlasting selves. So we transform when we shed this body finally, this eggshell. We shed it, this eggshell, encysting the chick. Then the chick finally comes out. This is the philosophy. Our souls are intact and beautiful, and we are our souls. We are our bodies as well. But yoga disciplines you to numb the pains and the sufferings, to abandon them. The Buddha uses the clever words abandonment. That's a pretty word right there. With all these activities, all these things that cause us hindrance and setbacks, we want to abandon them. We have abandoned all these pains. We have abandoned all these sufferings. We've abandoned all these attachments to pain and suffering. We are now liberated and free. Free unto our greater selves. Free unto our souls. Free unto our divine beings. This is the whole point that the Yoga Sutra is trying to help us to come up to advance, to develop our understanding, to be able to achieve this tremendously wonderful goal, enlightenment as a human and divine beings. So I leave you to do the rest of the contemplation on your own. Cheers and have a pleasant day.